Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I apologize for having to miss the testimony of some of you, and I appreciate you coming today. Professor Franks, let me ask you, I listened to your and Ms. Hemingway's testimony and Professor Turley's, so I got part of it. As I understand it, your position, Professor Franks, is that I think you used the word myth. It is a myth that the Biden administration used government to compel speech, private speech, but that the Trump administration is doing that. Is that a fair characterization?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Do you think perhaps you're allowing your personal political beliefs to affect your objectivity here?
No, I do not. What is guiding my answers here is that I'm looking to see what the Supreme Court has said. You notice that in the testimony about the censorship industrial complex.
I got that part.
No, I just
want
to
to
clarify.
No, but I've only got 5 minutes.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Conservative Chronicle. Today, we're diving into a heated exchange between Senator John Kennedy and Professor Mary Ann Franks during a recent Judiciary Committee hearing. Kennedy did not hold back as he grilled Franks on her controversial views about the Supreme Court, free speech, and so-called racial patriarchy. Was this a fair questioning or did it cross the line? Let's break it all down. Stick around to the end because this one gets intense. So,
your answer is no, as I appreciate it. Let me ask you a couple questions. You wrote a law review article in December of 2023 for the New York University Law Review, and it was about the two cases, Bruin, Supreme Court case, and Dobbs. Remember that article?
Yes, I do.
Okay. In this article, you said, I'm going to quote your words, "Taken together, these two cases demonstrate that the Supreme Court has embraced the use of the Constitution as a tool of racial patriarchy," end quote. Did you say that?
Yes.
Okay. And then you went on to say, quote, "When the Supreme Court declares that there is a constitutional right to armed self-defense in public, it openly embraces and promotes a culture that privileges white men's ability to terrorize and kill those that they perceive as threats," close quote. Did I read that correctly?
I believe so. Thank you for reading.
Okay. And did you also say in that article, I'm going to quote again, quote, "by simultaneously expanding white men's right to kill and constricting women's right not to die, this Supreme Court," referring to the current United States Supreme Court, "has turned the Constitution into a homicide pact as well," close quote. Did you write that?
That sounds like me.
Okay.
here's what went down. Senator Kennedy, known for his sharp questioning, focused on Professor Franks's past writings and tweets, some of which accused the Supreme Court of enabling white supremacy and turning the Constitution into a homicide pact. Yeah, those are some strong words. Kennedy's first move? He asked Franks if her political beliefs influenced her objectivity. Her response? A firm no. But was that really the case? Kennedy pulled up one of Franks's law review articles where she claimed the Supreme Court promotes a system of racial patriarchy. Then, he read another quote from her, stating that allowing public self-defense privileges white men's ability to terrorize and kill. Now, regardless of where you stand politically, that's a pretty extreme take. Kennedy called her out, questioning whether she really believes the highest court in the land is controlled by white supremacy.
In November of 2024, you tweet, don't you?
I'm not sure what the current terminology is for it, but yes, I am sometimes on the social platform that was formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah, you're on a lot, aren't you?
I'm not sure what the relevance of that is.
You try to be provocative on there, don't you?
Again, I'm not sure what the relevance
Well,
of this question is.
let me show you the relevance. On November 7th, 2024, from your tweet, here's one of your tweets at 2:41 p.m., quote, "The majority of Americans hate women the majority of Americans hate women more than they love anything, including democracy, close quote. Did I read that correctly?
I am not sure what this has to do with the subject matter of this
Did you
hearing.
say it?
I do not have those words in front of me. I probably said something along those lines, but
Yeah,
what is
you
the
said it.
relevance of
Here
that
it
to
is,
this
big as
hearing?
Dallas, right there.
Yes.
But your political beliefs don't impact your feelings about President Biden or President Trump.
I don't have feelings about either of them. What I have
Sounds
is
to me
doctrine.
like your favorite feeling is anger.
Franks didn't back down, but her responses were, let's just say, not exactly reassuring. What do you think? Does Franks have a point, or is this just political grandstanding? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear from you. Kennedy pulled up a tweet from Franks saying, "The majority of Americans hate women more than they love democracy." Now, when pressed on this, she didn't outright deny writing it. Instead, she deflected, questioning why it was relevant. Well, considering she was being asked about judicial fairness, I'd say it's pretty relevant. At this point, Kennedy had one goal: showing that Franks's views might be too radical for a fair legal system. But was he out of line or just exposing the truth? And hey, if you're enjoying this breakdown, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss deep dives like this.
Let me ask you this. You issued another tweet. This was in May of 2022. You've just been tweeting up a storm. You said, quote, "There's a reason why the conservative-dominated Supreme Court thinks the Constitution does not contain a right to an abortion, but is convinced that it contains an individual right to possess firearms. And that reason is white male supremacy," close quote. Did I read that correctly?
Is there a question in this?
Did I read that correctly? That's
Is there
my
a question that is relevant to this hearing?
Did I
Or
read that
relevant?
correctly? Do you really think that the United States Supreme Court, you're an officer of the court, is guided by white male supremacy?
I believe that the First Amendment prohibits the president
Did you
and other
say
state
that?
officials for punishing people for
Did
their
you honestly say that, Professor?
I
And you
believe
expect us,
that the First
as a
Amendment,
Democratic witness, to take you seriously? Are you kidding me?
I believe that you should take
You
the First
heard of
Amendment
curb your
seriously, sir.
enthusiasm? Here's my saying, curb my nausea.
I
Thank you.
believe that you
The
should take
time
the First
has
Amendment
expired. Thank
seriously.
you. Senator Durbin.
Then came the knockout punch. After hearing Franks's responses, Kennedy had one last remark. "You've heard of curb your enthusiasm? Well, I have a saying, curb my nausea." At that moment, it was clear Kennedy didn't just disagree with Franks, he didn't even take her seriously. And that, my friends, was the end of that exchange. So, what's the verdict? Did Kennedy expose a radical ideology, or was he unfairly attacking a legal scholar? This debate is definitely not over, and I want to hear what you think. Was this a necessary grilling or just political theater? Let me know in the comments. And if you haven't already, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next big breakdown. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.